integrating your left and right brain functions is important. While integrating your left and right brain hemispheres can be important. Another reason why integrating your left and right brain hemisphere functions may be beneficial, could be good. Use your brain for a change. Use your brain. Use your brain for a change. Use your brain for a change. One of my favorite quotes is by Dr. Richard Bandler, and it is, when you want new results, it requires new thinking. It requires new thinking. Thinking is just something we do. We are always thinking about something. Even when we are asleep, our brain is still working. Even when we're asleep, our brain is still working. We're born with this amazing inbuilt computer, but unfortunately it didn't come with a set of instructions. I mean, it did, but they're hidden, like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta be able to read it. It's in another language that we don't speak necessarily. Or we're not accustomed to speaking. We're not so familiar with the actual, the communication is then captured in the consonants that is this language, the instructions. So how this inbuilt computer is that's our brain works, or whatever. This works like optimally. We have to learn how to use it as we go along, and mostly we use it out of habits we have formed from watching and listening to others. So if we want to change those habits, we have to think differently. And to think differently, we have to use our brain to get that change. We have to use our brain to get that change, There's a lot of talk about people being right-brained and left-brained. You might have taken one of those quizzes online to determine which you are. The assumption is that a person who is left-brained is more logical, analytical, and objective and suitable for jobs such as an accountant or a solicitor or programmer. The right-brained person is said to be more creative, intuitive, thoughtful, and subjective, and might want to be an actor. It might want to be an actor or graphic designer or therapist. The reality is that people are not one or the other. They are not right-brained or left-brained. The theory grew out of the work of Nobel Prize winner Roger W. Sperry. He discovered that cutting the corpus callosum, the structure that connects the two hemispheres of the brain, reduced or eliminated seizures in people with epilepsy. However, patients who had undergone the procedure also had new symptoms after the communication pathways between the two sides of the brain was cut. Some patients found that they could no longer name objects that were processed by the right side of the brain, yet they could still name objects processed by the left side of the brain. This led Sperry to suggest that language was controlled by the left side of the brain. However, later research has shown that the brain is not nearly as neatly divided as this. The brain actually works best when both sides of the brain are engaged at the same time. Neuroscientists have found that the two sides of the brain work together to perform a wide variety of tasks, and the two sides communicate through the corpus callosum. In a study of over 1,000 participants by the University of Utah, it was revealed that while activity was sometimes higher on one side or the other in certain critical regions, on average, both sides of the brain were essentially equal in their activity. Dr. Jeff Anderson, the study's lead researcher, explains, "It's absolutely true that some brain functions occur in one or other side of the brain. Language tends to be on the left, attention more to the right, but people don't tend to have a stronger left or right-sided brain network. It seems to be determined more connection by connection by connection." This This makes the corpus callosum key in using our brain to evoke and strengthen new thinking. This makes the corpus callosum key in using our brain to evoke and strengthen new thinking. Midline exercises help to make those connections. Midline exercises help to make those connections. We need both sides of our brain working together to create strong neural pathways, making focus and recall much better and easier. So the next time you take one of those quizzes, know that it's just a little bit of fun. Now I must go and check my horoscope. What are the characteristics of a whole-brained person? They are empathetic, emotionally in tune, enjoy learning with other people, empathetic, emotionally in tune. They're cooperative and work well in teams. They're cooperative where thoughts, ideas, and discussion can be heard. They are empathetic, emotionally in tune, and enjoy learning with other people. They're cooperative and work well in teams where thoughts, ideas, and discussion can be heard. Characteristics of a whole-brained person. Balancing of the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Synchronization and balancing your left and right brain hemispheres. Unlock your genius through brain synchronization. There is no such thing as being a left or right-brained person. We are born with both sides of the brain to use both sides of the brain. In contemporary Western society, specifically the business sector, we tend to favor our left brain's analytical, logical focused thinking. Society has conditioned us to identify and favor one side of the brain. So we identify with either being left or right-brained and tend to use only one side. We say things like, oh, I'm just not a creative person. Or, I'm not a numbers person. What if you could have both? Luckily, you can. Favoring one side of the brain creates limitation and mental imbalance, characterized by migraines, stress, brain fogginess, memory lapse, anxiety, and a limited and narrow capacity for thinking and functioning. Let's take a look at what the left and right hemispheres are designed to do. To simplify, left hemisphere thinking, generally more sequential, linear, logical, practical, mathematical, analytical, scientific, and time-oriented. Right hemisphere thinking, more nonlinear, intuitive, abstract, big picture focused, creative, and space-oriented. It appears to be common knowledge that the right side of the brain is creative and language-based, and the left brain is logic, analytics-based. In reality, both sides of the brain handle both analytical and creative elements. It's just that one side of the brain is more specialized for a certain type of action. There's an interesting phenomenon that happens when you take on a certain task. One side of your brain will take on the task, even if it's not specialized for the task. And your brain will not switch over to the other side of the brain, even if the task is better suited. It will just take the task and run with it. You could be using the less suited side of your brain, or missing out on entire regions of your brain when functioning and thinking. When you don't use one side of the brain, your brain defaults to what it's used to, and the parts that don't get used atrophy. This creates a narrow-minded view of the world, limited thinking capacity, and neurological imbalance. It's like trying to draw a picture using word processing software instead of Photoshop or an image editing software. It's just not the best tool for the job. We're going to explore how to achieve brain synchronization. We are going to explore how to achieve brain synchronization, strengthen the parts of your brain that don't get used as often, create new neurological connections in the brain, and balance your central nervous system for a great deal of physical, mental, and emotional benefits. It's time to maximize the use of your brain and maximize your potential. It's time to maximize the use of your brain and maximize your potential. This relative shift in hemispheric dominance from left brain dominance to whole brain dominance may result in therapeutic effects which are likely to enhance mind-body integration and overall improvements in physical and emotional health. Because of a reduction in cognitive activities during moments of whole brain synchrony, it is believed that negative thinking, self-punitive thoughts, and excessive worrying are apt to slow down, and consequently a reduction in cognitive anxiety is experienced. This has been a quote that was quoted by it's hard to say where that was quoted from. You have two sides of the brain, so why not use both to your advantage? Why not use them together to achieve powerful results of increased focus, super learning, and enhanced creativity? You can do this through brain synchronization. First of all, what is brain synchronization? Synchronization. Coherence is one mathematical method used to determine if two or more sensors or brain regions have similar neuronal oscillatory activity with each other, or thus in sync with each other. The oscillatory activity of wavelengths is detected with an electroencephalography or magnetoencephalography machine and then analyzed with several types of mathematical algorithms. What are the benefits of brain synchronization? Being able to combine or connect each part of the brain specialty is like bringing together a team of experts all in your brain. Brain coherence creates homeostasis in your central nervous system and allows for more flexibility in thinking. Brain coherence creates homeostasis in your central nervous system and allows for more flexibility in thinking. You're able to draw upon the strengths of your brain in both the analytical and creative sense. Increased peacefulness and clarity of mind, increased sports performance, memory, health, emotional stability, focus, less stress, better sleep, allowance for super learning, and more energy. Brain synchronization also reduces migraines, fogginess, and memory lapses and helps build clarity, concise thinking, and help recover maximum functionality. So you're probably thinking, yes, let's do it. How do we begin? Before we get carried away with brain synchronization, it's important to note that your brain has evolved into two separate hemispheres for an important reason. It doesn't seem feasible for the hemispheres to fully share information or to operate in a fully unified fashion. Moreover, in a lot of cases, keeping things separate is literally the smarter way. Dividing up tasks and allowing the hemispheres to work semi-independently and take different approaches to the same problem seems to be a good strategy for the brain, just as it often is in partnerships between people. In order to survive, our brains evolved the ability to focus simultaneously on two given things at a time. The left brain is designed to focus on what you give your attention to, a more narrow, detailed, and time-oriented design, while the right brain stays available to focus on all the dangers and what-ifs, a broader and spatial-oriented design. This is designed to keep you alive, in case you're minding your own business, observing some cool stuff and an unexpected danger comes your way, or in nature while you're hunting and potentially get hunted. Pretty awesome, right? So usually that's how it works, although there are some specialized tasks that benefit from using both sides of the brain and various regions of the brain in communication. What is brain synchronicity best for? What is brain synchronicity best used for? What is brain synchronicity best used for? Sometimes you want your brain hemispheres to function independently, and sometimes you want them to synchronize, When is the best time to maximize brain synchronization? Exercise and playing sports, coordination and physical execution, brainstorming, generating ideas, creative thinking, writing or downloads, spontaneous bursts of genius thinking or ideas that pop into your mind, neurological balance, central nervous system balance, limbic system, mood balance, clear thinking, removing fogginess or migraines, headaches, promoting peacefulness, positivity, enhancing positive outlook on life and positive thoughts, super learning, enhancing the capacity for learning and retaining information in the brain through strengthening and facilitating information transfer in various regions of the brain. The striatum learns things quickly while the prefrontal cortex puts the pieces together to understand the big picture. If the communication is not effective or present, you will have more ability with understanding and retaining the information. The striatum learns very simple things really quickly, and then its output trains the prefrontal cortex to gradually pick up on the bigger picture, Miller says. The striatum learns the pieces of the puzzle, and then the prefrontal cortex puts the pieces of the puzzle together. Brain regions. Neuroimaging brain studies have found that there are specific regions of the brain that are specialized at processing certain types of information. There is also evidence that shows that separate specialized parts of the brain communicate with each other in order to combine their specialties and increase the effectiveness of thought. Each region is designed to specialize in a specific task, and when tasks require various specialties, the brain is designed to communicate through neurons firing to each other on the same frequency, thus brain synchronization. C. Maxwell Cade, in his research concerning the mind and its states of awareness, concluded that peak mental functioning is associated with bilateral hemispheric synchrony. Biologically, how does brain sync work? The left and right hemispheres of our brain are physically separate. The deep groove that separates them is called the longitudinal fissure. There's a band that connects them called the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum, the bundle of nerve fibers that connects our brain hemispheres, is the bridge or communication center between the two hemispheres. Studies have shown the corpus callosum is thicker in ambidextrous people and people who meditate. Studies have also shown ambidextrous people, being ambidextrous technically, meaning equal with both hands, to be better able to read people, see both sides of an issue, and recall details of an event and their context. Better integration and balance of the brain hemispheres allows a better kind of thinking. A better kind of thinking. A better kind of thinking. A 2002 UCLA School of Medicine study found that the corpus callosum, the grand central station-like cable of nerves cross-linking the brain hemispheres, was remarkably stronger, thicker, and more well-connected in meditation practitioners. Dominantly using one side of the brain causes shrinkage in the areas of your brain that are not being used, such as the corpus callosum. Just like building muscles with exercise, you will strengthen and build your corpus callosum with use to be able more to easily communicate between your brain hemispheres. Brain synchronization and the formation of new neurological connections. It has been shown that brainwave synchronicity or synchronization likely precedes the change in synapses or connections between neurons, believed to underlie learning and long-term memory formation. It has been shown that brainwave synchronization likely precedes the changes in synapses or connections between neurons believed to underlie learning and long-term memory formation. Through the brain's neuroplasticity, it's able to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Over time, you can rewire and reform it to use its maximum potential. If you can change your thoughts from moment to moment, you can't be doing it by constantly making new connections and breaking them apart in your brain. Plasticity doesn't happen on that kind of time scale. There's got to be a way of dynamically establishing circuits to correspond to thoughts we're having in this moment. And then if we change our minds a moment later, those circuits break apart somehow. We think synchronized brain waves may be the way the brain does it. Synchronized brain waves. How to synchronize the brain. There are several ways that brain synchronization can be achieved. Number 1, meditation. One of the most effective ways to create left and right brain synchronization is meditation. Meditation balances your left and right brain hemispheres and strengthens your corpus callosum. During meditation, the grand central station-like cable of nerves connecting your two brain hemispheres, the corpus callosum, becomes deeply stimulated, like a jogger's legs on a long run. Number 2, how to synchronize the brain. Number 2, exercise and movement. Exercise and movement. The left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. Using both sides of your body uses and strengthens both sides of the brain, improving coordination. You can also focus on crossing the midline of your body by touching one side of your body to the other, such as your left hand to your right knee. When doing so, your brain sends signals from one hemisphere to the other. Number 3, alternate nostril breathing. Nadi Shodhana. This technique has been used by yogis throughout history to purify the nadis, or energy channels in the body. The nasal cycle has been scientifically shown to be linked to the opposite hemispherical dominances. When your right nostril is dominant, the EEG electroencephalogram measured activity in the brain is greater than the left hemisphere of your brain, and vice versa. When the nostril dominance switches, so does the activity of the brain hemisphere. Number 4, switching up your routine. Switching up your routine. If you are normally someone who is logical and analytical, try a free thinking approach or ideology outside of your normal routine, and vice versa. Use your non-dominant hand for activities such as brushing your teeth or eating. The left brain is better suited for familiar movements, while the right brain is better suited for new ones. Variation And movement activates both sides of your brain. Variation in movement. Variation in movement activates both sides of your brain. Activates both sides of your brain. Number 5. Binaural beats and hemisync technology. Another easy way to sync the left and right hemispheres of your brain is through binaural beats. This involves delivering sound waves of slightly different frequencies through headphones into each to produce brainwave entertainment that follows the difference in hertz between each frequency. So if one ear is hearing 100 hertz and the other is hearing 107 hertz, there's a difference of 7 hertz, and your brain will entrain or follow the frequency of 7 hertz, thus falling into theta brain frequency, falling into theta brainwave frequency. Read more about brainwave frequencies here. So if one ear is hearing 100 hertz and the other is hearing 107 hertz, and there's a difference of 7 hertz, and your brain will entrain or follow the frequency of 7 hertz, thus falling into theta brainwave frequency. Brainwave entrainment, also referred to as brainwave synchronization and neural entrainment, refers to the capacity of the brain to naturally synchronize its brainwave frequencies with the rhythm and periodic external stimuli, most commonly auditory, visual, or tactile. By entraining brainwaves with binaural beats using headphones, it is possible to float the brain in this state of hemispheric synchronization for prolonged periods. Each time we do this, it is like exercising a new brain function, which makes the brain more able to engage this function as its normal repertoire of behavior. Using sound in these ways, it is possible to make profound changes in brainwave patterns and states of consciousness, observable on brainwave mapping equipment, as well as positive changes in the body, measurable with blood tests, biofeedback equipment, and other sophisticated procedures. We are also able to influence the core balance and functioning of the brain and the central nervous system as a whole. Our brains are usually in the beta brainwave frequency of alertness and concentration. So it's good to entrain your brain back to alpha, theta, or delta frequencies, promoting relaxation while syncing the brain hemispheres. Our brains are usually in the beta brainwave frequency of alertness and concentration. So it's good to entrain your brain back to alpha, theta, or delta frequencies, promoting relaxation while syncing the brain hemispheres. Hemisync technology is specifically designed to achieve brain synchronization and induce various desired states of consciousness, such as deep relaxation or focused attention. Number 6, listening to or playing a musical instrument. Various studies have been done on the effects of music on the brain. Listening to music lights up the large-scale neural networks of the brain associated with emotion, limbic system, listening, motor skills, movement, and creativity. Playing music is unique because it engages the right brain through focus on the melody in the music. The left hemisphere is responsible for the understanding of musical structure and motor skills whilst playing the instrument. Learning the music, listening to music, and playing instruments strengthens the various areas of the brain and their connections, and improves the amount of neural response to stimuli for increased coordination and sensitivity. How do I know when my brain is synchronized? Good question. You can tell when you feel clarity of mind. When you feel in the zone. Awesome ideas are flowing and you feel present and vibrant. You can tell when you feel clarity of mind and when you feel in the zone. awesome ideas are flowing and you feel present and vibrant. You can also tell by the positive outlook you have on life and the feeling of being unstoppable. And the feeling of being unstoppable. You can also tell by the positive outlook you have on life and the feeling of being unstoppable. You can also tell by your coordination ability. When you're playing the guitar smoothly and flawlessly and making shots while playing sports, you get the idea. Remember, just like exercise, over time, you will strengthen the various regions of the brain responsible for synchronization and facilitate information transfer, optimal thinking, coordination and memory, a balanced neural system, and a positive outlook on life. Not bad, huh? You'll feel like you have superpowers. You'll feel like you have superpowers. Like you have superpowers. Just don't let it go to your head. Call and response Q&A. Question and answer. New dimension. Essential aspects of life. Health. Action. Art. Family. Culture. Heritage. Breathing. Diet. Exercise. Rhythm. Motion. This is what scientists will consider a paradigm shift, the tipping point. We are on a sojourn, at the onset, the plinth, the zenith, horizon, meridian, on the outskirts of the very ridge, of the ledge, of the edge, faced with the arrival of evolution, forced and faced in human consciousness with an arrival of evolution, human consciousness, a reconstruction of awareness, the divine designation of this new dimension, a next dimension, another level of seeing, another level of being, thinking, living. The enhancing advancement of reality. Most probably believe in the possibility of many realities. Several conclusions to applicability of the general individual may argue that reality is relative, that there very well exists everyone with their own truths. Zen enthusiasts might insist in the principle of a one universally natural and exclusively supreme and supremely absolute and absolutely truth. What are the others saying? That another ain't? How do these two relate? And where originates the dichotomy, bridging the debate. Today we explore. Life we explore. Evaluate. Examine. Investigate life as we know it. Life as a whole. Life as a whole.
Told myself I'd get a guitar and learn to play. Have a car, go real far, then drive away. Grow a farm with vast vineyards with rice and grapes, so I can make a glass of wine on each and every day. Find a place and build a stage, put on a play. Trade every person in my past that passed away. As a magic sage, I'd imagine space and paint my face with shades from every planet's phase. Dance and meditate, celebrate, plan, manifest, ordain, invest and perpetuate. Dance and celebrate, plan and meditate, manifest, ordain, invest, perpetuate. Invest and perpetuate. Meditate. Yeah, I once wished the pilots in planes and flying free. Always dreamed of surfing on board to ride the sea. You're finding me hiding beneath a private peace, arising to reach the rightest reality. These fantasies seem the only thing to last. While off I cast, I often ask emphatically for fleeting facts and valid beliefs, but answers vanish. And established analysis depletes. Understanding can be challenging when what you happen to fathom doesn't match what you perceive. So as it goes, what used to be usually leaves. To be complete, remove all the things you choose to keep. Truly see, proving truth at new degrees. Moving through improvements you never knew you need. And your key is the key to blooming with beauty, exuding God's energy is king.